Students, today we are going to get idea about Unit 3 collection and representation of data from your paper 6th Computational Botany. Here in this one, first we have to get idea about meaning and need of classification. We know that actually when somebody collects the data or somebody collects the observations, at that time that collected data is known as a raw data or ungrouped data or unorganized form need to be organized and presented in a meaningful and readily comprehensible form in order to facilitate for statistical analysis. Students, you'll have to keep in mind here, whatever the data collected, that collected data, we have to name that data as a raw data. Another also name we can give to that one, that is ungrouped data. Another, we know that is a unorganized form and that need to be organized and presented in a meaningful and readily comprehensible form. Now what is meaning of comprehensible? Comprehensible is nothing but able to understand. Able to understand means that data whatever we have collected, that we have to organize it in a such a form, we have to group in a such a form, we have to convert that raw data into a, we have to say that, meaningful data, and the data comprehensible, nothing but the data is to be understand very easily, isn't it? So that is we have to first of all do, and that things will be facilitated for the further statistical analysis. And it is therefore essential for an investigator to get used to condense the mass of data into more and more comprehensible and assimilable form. Students, now this actually things tells us we have to first of all collect the data, or data collector collects the data in a huge or in a mass form, and that we have to convert into such a form so that after treating that data, after converting that data, after condensing that data could be easily understood by the common man, isn't it? Raw data or data which is ungrouped data or unorganized form data, that could not be able to understand very easily by the common people what we have taken inferences from that one. So when we will take out the inferences from that one, or when we will condense that data, or when we will convert that data into a understandable form and assimilable form, then such a type of a process is known as a classification, isn't it? Now here definition of a classification is given by the sacrist scientist, and according to the sacrist, classification is the process of arranging data into sequences and groups according to their common characteristics for separating them into a different but related parts. This actually definition, this definition which is given by the sacrist in case of classification of data gives us idea, basic idea is that we will have to condense the data in such a form. So that is actually a process, is a classification of a data. arrange the data into the sequence and groups according to their common characteristics, isn't it? For example, I will tell to you, suppose I have asked you go into the garden, and in that garden or nursery there are the many plants and you have to group that plants. So definitely as a your knowledge, you will first of all make the group of that one: herb, shrub, tree, climber, isn't it? So that is nothing but you have grouped the data into their common characteristic. Which common character you have taken? That is, in case of the herb, we know that herbaceous all are there. In case of shrub, bushy plants are there, means according to their height. Tree are there, climber means they are climbing on the other plants. So common character you have taken, and you have classified the total number of plant, or total, we have to say that, nursery into a such a type of a groups on the basis of a common characteristic. Means you have separated each and every plant in a groups, but the single group having a related characteristics. Now the need of classification. What is need of classification? Already we have actually learned the things, that is nothing but the meaning of classification of data. Then we have learned the definition of a classification of a data. Now we have to get idea about need, as same things are there. Classification is an ordered set of related categories used to group the data, isn't it? So in this need of classification, we have found there is a similarity of a character in that group. It consists of a codes and description and allows the survey response to be put into a meaningful category in order to produce useful data. Classification is a useful tool for anyone developing a statistical survey. It is actually a framework which both simplifies the topic being studied and make it easy to categorize all data or responses received. So actually this is the need, as already we have learned, that is we know that classification is actually such a framework, and that framework is, we have to say that, going to help to the scientist, helps to the analyzers, both simplifies the topic being studied and make it easy to the categories all the data or responses received. Now what are the benefits of the classification, isn't it? So these benefits of classification are there. Data integration. First of all, we have to integrate the data, isn't it? Improved survey efficiency. We know that actually most of time how to make the survey, that also we can help. Suppose first survey we have conducted, and that collected data we have first of all arranged in a very, we have to say that, understandable manner, comprehensive form. Then at the time of second survey, we will come to know that what we have to do so as to again make very few errors at the time of collection of data. So that help in improve the survey efficiency, meeting users requirement, data comparability, also that is a most important benefit, efficient use of resources, which data or which resources we have to use for our study, and more reliable statistics. So these are the benefits of a classification data. Now very interesting point we have to study, that is the objectives of the classification. First objective, that is to simplify the complexities of a raw data and make the data easily accessible and easily understandable. This is the most important thing, is that whatever things we are going to do because of this classification of a data, what objective should be there at the time of classifying the data, which type of objective should be in our mind. Objective is that to simplify and complexities of a raw data and make the data easily accessible and easily understandable. Again, to make the data attractive so as to leave a lasting impression, we have to make a data attractive so that anybody can, we have to say that, understand that easily, and after understanding, that fellow will not be forget the things for long time, isn't it? For long time that impression should be remain on his mind. Again, to facilitate the quick comparison and easy study, the whatever data we have collected, raw data, ungrouped data, unorganized data, that data we have to organize in a specific form, and once we have organized that one, we can easily compare that data with other related data or data collected by another fellow, or data we have to say that collected by other scientists. So that objective we have to keep in mind at the time of classification of a ungrouped data, that is to be facilitate quick comparison and easy study. Fourth objective, present the data in condensed form of a form submission of a atoms. So condensed in the sense that huge data, mass of data is to be converted into a small form. Now fifth objective of classification, to ensure the detection of errors and omission in data, isn't it? At the time of classification, we will have to detect some errors, and that errors we have to omit from the collected data. Again, to ensure the proper use of collected data, again we'll have to ensure that the collected data is used properly, utilized properly. Now, to simplify the complexities of raw data and to draw a statistical inferences, isn't it? Whatever data, use data we have collected, that when we will view that data, at that time we can understand that data is a, we have to say that little bit complexity is there. Easily we cannot understand that one, or from the collected data we cannot be able to draw a statistical inferences unless and until that data is classified, isn't it? Again, eighth objective of the classification, to help the drafting the final report. The classified data we have to use just to draft the final report, and that final report we can easily take out from that one, and that we can report. Now condense the mass of data in easily as well as form. Already we have studied about this objective, is that condense the mass of data. The huge data is there, we have to convert into a, we have to say that less number. And last one, to it eliminates the unnecessary details. Unnecessary details are there that we can remove, so that could help us. So these are the, we have to say that the 10 objective of the classification of the data. With these, friends, before completing our today's lecture, I would like to mention few things to you. You will have to write these things, you will have to remember these things, and for that one you will have to do the practice. For example, I will tell to you, do the practice. We know that many things are there with us. Many we have to say that examples are there. Suppose I have asked to you, just you collect some plants, or I have to say that the pea pods, and when we will take a pea pods at your places from the market, you have to measure the height of that one, isn't it? Suppose there are the 50 pods are there, and 50 observations would be there, and if I ask you to take out some inference, tell some common things out of this one, then it would be very difficult to you to tell that the average height or all sort of the things. So then what we have to do, you have to condense that number. 50 pods height is with you, that observations are with you, that you have to convert into a condense that into a small one, in the sense you have to make the range of that one. Suppose having range height, very high height, higher height, then middle height, lower height, and again we have to say that the not that much marginal height. So like that one, you have to make the groups of that one and measure the height of that one. So that would be, we have to say that condensation of the data is there. Organization of that all pods, 50 pods into a groups according to their height, or according to their size, or again according to the number of seeds present into that one. So that exercise you can do at your places. Always I used to say that unless and until you go and have some case studies with you, have some examples with you, or you solve the examples of that one, then only it is very easy to understand all these things. With this I am going to complete our today's lecture. Students, do the experiment at your places, and again I will say that although there is a little bit less danger of a corona is there, but you have to be at your places and be healthy, be happy at your places. Thank you very much.